I am the Judas Resurrection.
Well, I'm here to tell you. It's okay to hate your government. Sounds like a terrible thing to say. It almost sounds like it's traitorous. But something like that, saying something like that, under the Constitution we have chosen to live under as a people of these United States, it's not traitorous. It's okay. It's your First Amendment right. Not to just say things, not to just have whatever religion you might want to choose, be it a religion or a faith itself. A faith in oneself is something you can choose to believe in a spiritual way, guarded by the First Amendment. And so is Satanism. I mean, you're going to throw religion and faith into things, you got to accept that, right? It's not like an ideology such as Nazism. It's a faith in something greater than humanity, which I believe Nazism is as strong, is as close as it can get to a human way of having a greater faith. Humans, we aren't that bright. We're not as good at things as we think we are. We're still fucking monkeys with souls. The right to protest and assembly peacefully, the right to the press, things like that, saying things. That's what the First Amendment right is. The First Amendment right allows you to hate your government if that's what you choose to do. It doesn't say you have to talk about it. What it's doing is it is protecting your thoughts. And in the coming times, I'm sure they're working on the brain chip, talk us into how quick it is to do our banking and our social media. Wouldn't that be so much better? But at the same time, they're accessing your thoughts. That's what'll happen, I suppose. That's what they're looking toward. Somebody. They want to be able to, and that thing will be like Einstein working on fucking nuclear shit. He gets blamed for it being done. These people might not have the worst intentions at heart, but falling into the wrong hands, it could be dangerous. So remember, if they're going to go that far, we at this point have the First Amendment to protect us from being held accountable for our thoughts. I mean, isn't what confession is for? Is to admit to someone else that you have bad thoughts. 5 Hail Marys, 5 Our Fathers, that'll take care of it. No, you could spend 5 years in CCOT, not like a sentence, but just that's how slowly they'll let you die. The point is, I'm saying it's okay for you to hate your government. I have talked to people about this. I remind people of my memories of having been places and lived places and interacted with different peoples. You know, like Okay, they want to talk about Iran, like they're all out to kill us all. And it's like, I met a couple Iranians outside of the Shanghai airport once when I missed my flight and it spent the whole night and just stood out in front of the place drinking beers you could buy right inside. And I ran into these two Iranian guys, and my Putonghua, my Mandarin, my Chinese was all right by then. These guys didn't really speak Chinese. So I'm trying to speak Chinese to them and I'm switching to English, and they didn't speak English very well. There was nothing going on that way. And so when those two things failed, I slipped into Spanish for some reason. That didn't do any good either. But the three of us, we stood out front of the Shanghai airport and talked for probably 30 or 45 minutes and got to know each other. And there's a communication that can be done without language. How do you think animals get laid? Same way people do. A lot of grunts and hair pulling, maybe a little bit of biting. Do you have a history of biting? Well, you really don't want to know that part of it. That's not the kind of biting we're talking about, sort of thing. So it was a true understanding that fed in with so much more. Living with the Chinese, seeing the people, decent people, living amidst Saudis and Iraqis, decent people, living in other like Anglo-Saxon type places where they seem like decent people, but all we ever talk about is what their governments are doing in these other countries. And I have to remind people what I've learned myself is that really people are decent. It's the governments that are the assholes. And so if we find it that easy to despise someplace like Iran or China or Mongolia, I don't think anybody talks bad about that. I've got nothing bad to say about it at all. I had a really good time there. The Ukraine, even, was a cold, dark place in 1997, but the people were decent. Couldn't even just walk into a bank. Guards out front. You need an appointment to go inside. And you see the train station, it's all filled with soot on the interior. You can tell it was once beautiful, but all these people were living there on spring break in 1997 because it's cold outside. And their cars that crank like that, I got to ride in one of those. That's their taxi back in 1997. Cold, dark place, beautiful people. Everywhere I've been, maybe it's got something to do with me, has been surrounded by beautiful people. Maybe I'm getting the best of them, and the worst of them are hiding because they see the light. I don't hate my government. I never loved it to begin with. And I've told you before, I feel that there are spectrums of emotion and different things. I believe, and it goes all around. You don't see the rainbow on the other side of the horizon. I believe it goes all the way around and they meet in the middle somewhere. They're the same feeling, love and hate. If you think of the first time you loved someone, you think that glowing feeling, and it's just like, ah, ah. There's something uh, animalistic that wants to happen with that. And when you're breaking up with that person, think about that. That feeling, that just, ah, this emotive quality you're experiencing, and you want to do something. Whether it's just these days, I guess, during love and hate, people choke each other. I wouldn't do it. You never know when to stop. Um, so I say, I never loved nor hated my government. I see what it is. Sometimes you see, maybe you need to say something about it, but these thoughts are our own. Your feelings should also be your own. If you live in these United States right now and you have felt a strong love for your government and your country, then you may be susceptible to hating it just as well, just as much. It's probably a better way. Love the same way you hate. It's your right. Remember, you get a divorce, you might hate that person you left. I witnessed something like that yesterday. Oh boy. Stupid! Right in front of everybody. Wow. You called him stupid twice, and he's just sitting there calmly watching his fucking Neil Young and Eminem on the TV. Yeah, whatever it is, I'm just enjoying the ride out. And you realize you need to keep communicating with that person, even if you do hate them now, because you need to be able to get along to get to the next step. Every day you wake up is a new dream. Don't let it be a nightmare. It's okay to hate your government. Just keep paying your bills, I suppose, and from one day to the next. Sometimes it takes many. It'll change again. Maybe you'll learn to love it again. Maybe if you're somebody that never loved nor hated it, maybe you can learn to love it. So one day you can properly hate it too. What I really meant to do here. Hey, how you doing? We are the Judas Resurrection.